In a small, quiet town, there's a bus stop that's become a landmark of love and loyalty. Every single morning, without fail, a beautiful Akita named Hachi would sit there, his eyes fixed on the road, waiting for the familiar sight of the 3 o'clock bus. For Hachi, that bus meant the world, because it brought his best friend, his human, home from work. Their reunion was a daily celebration, a whirlwind of wagging tails, happy barks and warm embraces. It was a perfect, beautiful routine. But one day, the routine was broken. The 3 o'clock bus arrived, the doors hissed open, but his owner didn't step off. Hachi waited. He waited as the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. He waited until the streetlights flickered on, casting long shadows on the empty sidewalk. But his owner never came home. Weeks turned into months. The seasons changed. The vibrant green leaves of summer turned to fiery autumn hues, then fell, leaving the branches bare against a cold winter sky. And still, Hachi waited. Every single day, he'd make the journey to the bus stop, a silent, hopeful sentinel. The townspeople got to know him. They'd leave out bowls of water and food. They'd stop to give him a gentle pat, their voices soft with sympathy. He's still waiting. They'd whisper to each other, a mix of awe and heartbreak in their voices. They all knew the sad truth. Hachi's owner had passed away suddenly months ago. But how do you explain forever to a heart that only knows loyalty? Hachi didn't understand. All he knew was that the most important person in his life was gone, and this bus stop was their last point of connection, the place where hope was still alive. His world had shrunk to this single spot, this daily ritual of waiting for a ghost. Among the many people who saw Hachi's daily vigil was a bus driver named David. Every day, David would pull up to the stop, and his heart would ache seeing the faithful dog sitting there. His gaze so full of anticipation that slowly faded into disappointment as the bus pulled away. David had heard the story from the locals. He knew the man Hachi was waiting for would never return. He saw the profound grief in the dog's eyes, a sadness so deep it seemed to mirror his own past losses. He couldn't just keep driving by. He felt a pull, a need to do something, anything, to ease this creature's silent suffering. He started leaving special treats for Hachi, talking to him in a low, comforting voice as passengers got on and off. "Hey there, old boy," he'd say. "Waiting for your friend, huh? You're a good dog. The best dog." Hachi would accept the treats, his tail giving a weak, hesitant wag, but his eyes would remain fixed on the road, forever searching. One particularly gray and chilly evening, as David was finishing his last route, he saw Hachi still at the stop, shivering slightly in the cold wind. An idea, born from pure compassion, sparked in David's mind. He pulled the bus over, opened the doors, and knelt down. "Hey Hachi," he said softly. "Come on, let's go for a ride." Hachi looked at him, his intelligent eyes seeming to understand the kindness in the offer. Hesitantly, he stood up, stretched his stiff legs, and climbed aboard the bus. David didn't have a destination in mind at first. He just knew he couldn't leave him there alone in the dark. As he drove through the quiet town, he remembered the locals mentioning where Hachi's owner had been laid to rest. On a hunch, he steered the bus toward the old cemetery on the edge of town. He parked the bus near the entrance gate. The air was still and quiet, broken only by the rustling of leaves. David walked with Hachi through the rows of headstones until he found the one he was looking for. "Here we are, boy," David whispered. "This is where he is." Hachi seemed to know. He walked slowly toward the simple stone marker and lay down in front of it, resting his head on his paws. A soft, low whine escaped him, a sound filled with all the longing and love he'd held inside for so long. He wasn't waiting for his owner to come home anymore. He was home, right there with him. David stood back, giving him space, his own eyes filling with tears as he witnessed this sacred reunion. It was a moment of profound sadness, but also of incredible beauty. The waiting was finally over. Hachi had found his peace. From that day forward, a new routine began. Every evening, after his last official stop, David would pick up Hachi. It became their special trip. The bus, usually empty by then, would have one very important passenger. They'd ride in comfortable silence to the cemetery, where Hachi would spend time by his owner's final resting place. Sometimes David would sit with him, talking quietly about his day. Other times, he'd just stand by the bus, watching over the loyal dog as dusk settled around them. This simple act of kindness transformed both of them. Hachi was no longer alone in his grief, and David found a new sense of purpose, a deep and meaningful connection with this incredible animal. The story of the bus driver and the loyal dog spread through the town, a quiet legend of compassion and friendship. It became a powerful reminder for everyone that love doesn't end with a final goodbye. It lives on in memories, in routines, and in the unwavering loyalty of a faithful friend. It also showed how a small act of kindness can change a life, bridging the gap between loneliness and companionship. Hachi's wait at the bus stop had been a symbol of loss, but his evening rides with David became a symbol of healing. It wasn't about forgetting the one he'd lost, but about finding a way to honor that love with the help of a new friend. Hachi lived out the rest of his days with this new purpose, his heart full, knowing he was loved and cared for. And David, the kind bus driver, was forever changed by the dog who taught him, and an entire town, the true meaning of devotion. A love like that truly never dies. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this moment with us. If this story touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up, and consider subscribing for more stories that celebrate the incredible bond between humans and animals. We'd love to hear your own stories of loyal companions in the comments below. Until next time, take care.